Hi, my name is Chris and this is Battle Nonsense. About 3 months ago I released a netcode analysis for H1Z1 KOTK. In that video I told you about the quite long delay that the player movement and gunfire are suffering from, and I showed you why you receive damage far behind cover even when your ping to the server is very low. If you have not seen that video yet, then you can find a link in the description down below, as well as a card right here in the top right corner of this video which will take you to it. So recently the developers published a new update which improved server performance and optimized the networking. Now let's find out if the game performs better or worse now after this patch. Last time I noticed that KOTK does not use a fixed rate at which data is sent and received. But when I took the average of 50 updates captured with Wireshark, then the client sent about 45 updates per second to the server and received about 40 updates per second from the server. Now after the patch I again took the average of 50 updates and the rates are still about the same, so no change there. Now let's have a look at the actual delay that two players are affected by when they play on the same server. To test this I use a high-speed camera, two PCs where each of them has its own fiber internet connection, and a 144Hz gaming monitor on which the game runs at more than 144 FPS with all graphic options set to the lowest value. To measure the delays between the players I point my high-speed camera at the monitors and then have player 2 shoot 20 times at player 1. Inside the high-speed recording I then look for the frame where I see that player 2 starts to fire, and then I count the frames until I see that the damage was received by player 1, which is indicated by either blood splatter, a damage indicator, or the update of the health indicator depending on what happens first and what is available in the game. In addition to this damage delay test, I also check the delay of the gunfire animation, as well as the movement delay. So last time I measured an average delay of 93 milliseconds for the damage data, 200 milliseconds for the gunfire, and 202 milliseconds for the movement data. Now after the latest update I still measure about the same average damage delay. However, the gunfire and the movement delays have improved significantly, which has a positive impact on your gameplay experience. Now, how about that infuriating issue where you receive damage very far behind solid cover despite playing at a low ping? In this example here, player 1 has a ping of less than 40 milliseconds to the game server, while player 2 has a ping of more than 400 milliseconds. And as you can see, the shot from player 2 will still register, and as a result player 1 receives the damage very far behind cover. So when it comes to the actual hit registration or lag compensation, then the latest update didn't change anything. The developers tried to mitigate this problem with a region lock, which will prevent players from joining servers located in a region to which they have a too high ping. However, the problem here is that high ping is not exclusive to players from other regions. Players who live in the same region where the server is hosted can also have a very high ping or suffer from massive ping spikes. Let me show you an example. At the moment I have a ping of less than 40 milliseconds to the game server. Now I will take my phone and use OneDrive to upload some pictures and videos to the cloud. You can see that my ping then increases quite a bit once this upload consumes my entire upstream bandwidth. This ping increase is caused by the router, which does not prioritize the game data, and so this data queues up inside the router until it can be sent, which increases the delay. So when a player is suffering from up and or downstream network congestion, then this will also increase his ping to the game server. Not only will this player then have a bad experience, he will also give other players a bad time because in most games his delayed shots will still register and so hit other players very far behind cover, as if he was playing out of region. If you have seen some of my previous videos about gaming routers, then you know that there is a way to prevent those ping spikes caused by network congestion. In my case, I just have to go to the configuration of the edge router and enable Smart Queue for both the up and downstream traffic. I disabled it for the upstream just a few minutes ago so that you see what happens when you don't have it. Now that Smart Queue is enabled again in the upstream direction, OneDrive continues to upload the pictures and videos I selected. But that traffic does not interfere with the game data anymore, and so my ping is back to where it should be and it stays there. If you now want to find out if your router protects you from such ping spikes when someone or something else uses your entire up or downstream bandwidth, then you can do a so-called buffer bloat test on dslreports.com. You can find a link to the site in the description down below, where I will also put links to the Edge Router series and the videos I made on that topic. So, When you are a developer and your goal is to prevent that infuriating gameplay experience where players with good connections receive damage far behind cover, then a region lock is not the solution because it does not deal with players who suffer from those ping spikes. And the reality is that most routers out there are unable to prioritize data from real-time applications like games, and so it just takes one person or device in your network to cause this issue. What a region lock definitely does though is split your player base and prevent that players from different countries can play together. So I'm not sure if you've seen my video about how Battlefield 1 deals with this issue now. And while I'm fully aware that it is still a controversial change to basically turn off the lag compensation for players above a certain latency so that they then must lead their shot and that way compensate for their high ping, I still think that this is the way to go, because then you got a handle on this issue of players with good connections receiving damage very far behind cover, while still allowing players from all over the world to come together and play your game. In the description down below you can find a link to that video where I explain how the hit registration now works in Battlefield 1. So if you want to learn more about that, then I encourage you to check that out. I hope that the developers of H1Z1 King of the Kill will consider exploring different solutions when it comes to mitigating the issue of receiving damage far behind cover, and that they will continue to improve the network performance of their game. If they release more updates like this one, then you can be sure that I will check them out and tell you how these affect your online experience. So I hope that you enjoyed this video on the H1Z1 netcode patch, and if you like this kind of content where I take a look at the inner workings of video games and show you how these affect your experience, then you can help me to cover the costs of this channel by supporting me on Patreon. The link is in the description below. Also, if you want to stay up to date on what I'm currently working on, then you can follow me on Twitter or Facebook. The links are also in the description of this video. And if you don't want to miss the next one, then you might want to subscribe to my channel and click on that bell icon below this video to receive a notification when I upload the next one. So if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like, subscribe for more, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, have a nice day and take care. My name is Chris and this was Battle Nonsense.